get started. Hey, Jennifer. Welcome, everybody, to the Wednesday night loving kindness meditation. My name is Alex. It's wonderful to be here with you tonight. Hope you all have a good holiday. New Year's is coming up. We're having we do our own thing. Are we still? I think we're still having our own thing, right? Yeah. On New Year's, where we sit like 15 minutes beforehand and we sit and meditate. The new year comes, and then we sit and meditate for another few minutes, and it's just like our New Year's meditation. Usually there's like a potluck beforehand, so we just kind of make it an event. So if you're so inclined, I will be in bed, but if you're so inclined, please join us. Take this off. Is there anyone new to the Dharma Bum Temple here? Nice. Well, welcome. Thank you. How'd you find out about us?
Google.
Google. Okay, yeah. I always ask that because I always ask, what that is. Back in the day, when we first were having classes, and I started to lead classes, I always ask that question, and I always got like meetup, because we still have a meetup thing, and is meetup or sometimes like a friend told me, and now it's different. So that was back in 2008 and 2009, 2008, 2009, and now it's Google, or a friend brought me still. So we still have a lot of that, which is good. So this is the loving kindness meditation. The word that we're talking about when we're talking about loving kindness is metta, METTA. Metta is a wish for ourselves and a wish for others to not only be happy, but to do the things that cause happiness, right? And so if you're wondering what causes happiness, in brief, it's just the motto of the Dharma Bum Temple, which is think good thoughts, speak good words, do good deeds. Right? So, and these are the things that cause happiness. All these things, speaking, thinking good thoughts, speaking good words, doing good deeds, all these things, what we mean by that is things that are kind, loving, non-harming, especially, right? Non-harming. They don't harm you, they don't harm another person, they lead to happiness and not to, they lead to the end of suffering and not to more suffering. So it's really important that we examine our intentions before we do all of these things, right? Are you really bringing, happiness to yourself and others, right? When you're doing this. And so the meditation that we're going to do tonight is based on that. Sorry, I'm still out of breath. I don't know why. And so that's what we're going to do. So we're going to have this short introduction. We're going to do this meditation. And then afterwards, we'll have like a question and answer kind of period. And then we'll end for tonight. I'm actually surprised that we have so many people. It's like, all right, because it is so close to the New Year's and during the holidays, attendance is usually down a bit, which is perfectly normal. I get it. People have lives and they want to do things. But here at the Dharma Bum Temple, we have classes irrespective of holiday. Doesn't matter what holiday it is. If it falls on like a Wednesday, there's always going to be a loving kindness class. If Christmas falls on a Wednesday, we're still having the loving kindness class at 7:00. If New Year's, Thanksgiving, Halloween, July 4th, President's Day, whatever it is, whatever day it is. If it falls on a Wednesday, we're having a loving kindness class. We don't care. Um, Even if it's a Buddhist holiday, we're having a loving kindness class. If it's Vesak, we're having a loving kindness class. You can always count on us to be here, and that's why I like it. One of the things I love about the Dharma Bum Temple. Welcome to everybody who is new online. Like Becky, you said you were new. Welcome. I appreciate that. I appreciate you being here, of course. And so what we're going to do in this meditation, this loving kindness class, is we're first going to kind of get connected with the breath, and then we're going to do loving kindness for a benefactor. And a benefactor is anyone who has shown us great love or kindness. Not a romantic partner, but anyone else is fair game, right? And then the second part is we're going to imagine our benefactor doing this practice for us. And so the reason that this person is a benefactor, because we already have the experience of love and kindness from them. So we just call that to mind, right? And so we're going to do that. And again, this benefactor for the first two parts could be, again, anyone, not a romantic partner, but anyone else, mother, father, brother, sister, best friend, person you saw on TV who you really liked, it doesn't matter, right? They could be living, they could be not living, right? There's a lot of flexibility here, so just be sure to use that. And then we're going to do loving kindness for ourselves, which sometimes can be a challenge. I know that's why we do the first two parts first, is kind of tenderize our own heart, right? And then finally, we're going to do loving kindness for all beings in all directions. So going as far out as you can go. And that will conclude our meditation. And so I just want to kind of give you an idea of kind of what we're doing before we do it, just so you're just not surprised, I guess. So if anyone who's, regardless of where you're sitting, if you need to put your feet on a cushion, if your feet don't comfortably reach the floor, you can put your feet, like I said, on a cushion. You can grab a cushion. That's fine, like Baxter has. Okay. Any questions before we start? All right. Let's begin. So just allow your eyes to close, making sure you have that comfortable and sustainable position so you're not likely to move around too much. And when we sit like a Buddha. And you can even imagine yourselves as a Buddha sitting underneath your own tree of enlightenment, because historically, each Buddha who comes into the world has their own tree. So you can choose any tree you want. Ready for the day's abiding. And so at first, like I said before, we're going to get connected to the breath. So let's just take a deep breath all the way in and all the way out. At first, not forcing it, letting the breath be quite easy and quite natural. And paying attention to your breath at the base of the nostrils, feeling their air go in and out as you breathe. Or if you want to get more detailed, you can follow the air going into the nose and into the heart and then into the navel on the inhale, and then on the exhale from the navel through the heart, out the nose again. This connection to the breath is really, really important, Because when we do our meditation on loving kindness, we still want to have about 25% of our attention on the breath. It keeps us anchored to the present moment. Even in this meditation, the breath is important. The breath, like I said, is our anchor, is our home, that place we can always come back to. When we get lost in thought, in meditation, or we're out experiencing our day, it's always with us. It's always important to, every once in a while, stop and take a deep breath. That in itself is a beautiful act of loving kindness. So just for the next few moments, just rest as gently as you can in the sensations of the breath. And so, to begin our practice of loving kindness, unconditional friendliness, and goodwill, we're first going to think of a benefactor. And again, a benefactor is anyone who has shown us great love or great kindness, someone it's really easy to have these feelings for. You just think of this person and you smile. And to wish them loving kindness and to do this practice of loving kindness, you can do it either by just radiating loving kindness to them, picturing them in your mind's eye, just radiating loving kindness to them, and however you understand that word, or you can just repeat phrases of loving kindness to them, for them. Phrases like, may you be happy. May you be safe from inner and outer danger. May you be well in body and mind. May you be at peace and live at ease in this world. So you can use any of those phrases, or you could just use a phrase of your own making, so long as it has a loving and a kind intention behind it. So for the next few moments, we'll do this practice of loving kindness for our benefactor. And now shifting our focus just a little from loving kindness for our benefactor to now just imagining our benefactor doing this practice for us. And it could be the same one, a different one, it could be multiple benefactors, it doesn't matter. You just picture them and you imagine them doing this practice for you, either repeating phrases or just radiating loving kindness from their heart to yours. And your only job here is just to, again, receive all of their loving kindness that they've already sent you. You already have the experience of their love and kindness. If you want, just to make this a little easier, you can put your hand over your heart. You can smile, because smiling makes everything better in meditation. If there's any part of your heart that feels any tightness or tension, that's okay. That's normal even. Just take a deep breath. And on the exhale, just direct all of that to wherever the tension is. And maybe it loosens up, maybe it doesn't. Just give it some space. That's all you're really doing, just giving it some space. So we'll do this for the next few moments, imagining our benefactor doing this practice for us. And now, can we shift our focus again and do this practice for ourselves? So just call to mind your own wish to be happy, your own wish to be safe and protected and healthy, a wish that everyone has for themselves, a wish that is normal and not always practiced. And so we need to start practicing that now, because if we can develop that wellspring of loving kindness in our heart by having loving kindness for ourselves, having loving kindness for everyone else would just come so naturally. It would be effortless. If we can get our hearts to that point of this natural wellspring of loving kindness coming from us all the time. So you can either just repeat these phrases of loving kindness for yourself. You can imagine your heart getting bigger, literally bigger and warmer. Realizing your natural goodness, your potential for enlightenment, for nirvana, that everybody has. It doesn't matter what you've done or didn't do. So for the next few moments, we'll do this practice of loving kindness for ourselves. Finally, we can explore the limitless quality, the limitless potential of the heart, and do this practice for all beings in all directions, whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. And we'll do this in this meditation. Just open your eyes when you're ready. So let's just take the next minute or so out in silence as you stretch your arms and you stretch your legs. Keeping that mindfulness of loving kindness about you. I'm going to be asking about questions and your experience of meditation in about a minute here. So if you have any questions, just formulate them now. All right. Oof. You okay? Do you need your inhaler? You all right? Any questions on the instructions at all? Hopefully they were relatively straightforward. This goes for the online folks as well. Now with online, there's like a 10-second delay or so, but it's all right. And so, I'm always interested to understand your experience of meditation, and because it should be different every time. A couple of days ago, I got really sick after I ate something, and it was just really awful. It was like a couple of nights ago, and certainly I couldn't even. I couldn't even spend any time meditating. That wasn't possible. And then last night was a little better. I couldn't really eat or anything like that, but it was better. And I said, okay, well then I'm going to meditate now. And so I sat down to meditate. And you ever sat down and you ever meditated, and as soon as you sit down, it's like, this is not going to happen. This is not going to happen. There's no way I'm going to be able to get concentrated enough, follow my breath, do anything at all productive in this meditation. And that's exactly how I felt. But I did it anyway. And it was just 30 minutes of just a mess of just thoughts here and thoughts there, and just not being able to stay concentrated for any appreciable length of time. And even with all of the mindfulness techniques that I know, and I know a few, it just wasn't going to happen. It just wasn't going to happen. Not happen. Even though I tried, and that's just what happens sometimes. It's like, this is not happening. This is not gonna. I'm not gonna do it. So it's okay to have experiences like that and difficulties like that. And I've been meditating for a while. So this just happened yesterday. So and I say that just because you never know what you're gonna get with any meditation that you do. And so it's really best to go in there with no expectation whatsoever. And the experience you have is just the experience you have. And you try your best, you do what you know how to do, and then you just go on. Just move. All right. And so that's sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's not. Sometimes there's something that's surprising that happens. And so I'm going to ask if anyone here would like to share their experience of meditation. Anything that was easy or hard or surprising or awesome or not awesome or whatever it is that you want to share, I would love to hear. And so online, we got an online. It says, Becky says, I struggle with forgiveness, and this has helped me tonight to soften those edges and to generate and feel the love and kindness that I know is in me already. In me is already there. Thank you. Well, thank you, Becky. I appreciate that. And yeah, absolutely. And, I always say the most important kind of loving kindness you can have is loving kindness for yourself. And it is if you can have loving kindness for yourself, if you can fill your heart with loving kindness, there's not room for anything else. Nothing else can exist. Hatred, greed, anger, fear, all these negative emotions can't take up space if it's already filled with loving kindness. So I'm glad, Becky, that you were able to be helped with that. I have something else here. When I do a lot of meditation, reciting repeated word, I forget everything and cannot able to concentrate on work. My mind just gets focused in meditation. Well, that's good, isn't it? That's kind of what we want. And that's just kind of one type of meditation that you're talking about, which is wonderful. In the loving kindness, when you just repeat the phrases over and over and over, and so often, and I've said this many times, there are many times where I only do loving kindness for myself. As a matter of fact, most of my loving kindness meditation is only loving kindness for myself, just because that's what I personally need the most. And it has helped me with being not only loving and kind to myself, but to others as well. Yeah, thank you both. Thank you both for chiming in there. I really appreciate it. Yes, hi.
I guess it was surprising that the receiving loving kindness part made me really sad.
Mm-hmm. So talk to me about that a little bit, about making you feel really sad. That's good, because it's good to notice, right?
I don't know if it's like feeling undeserving of it, or if it's something else. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Surprising.
Could be that. Yeah. And so for this part of the meditation, you did choose a benefactor, right? Doing this practice for you. And did this person, do you remember the loving kindness that they showed you? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My mom, so.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. It's a good one.
That's probably
And yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So she obviously loves you. Well, I don't say I shouldn't say obviously, because sometimes we have complicated relationships with our parents. Yeah. But this could happen. Anger, sadness. It's like a lot of times it is just I'm not deserving, and it's more just a lack of loving kindness for oneself than anything else. And this is normal, and this is just where we say to ourselves, yeah, I just need more loving kindness for myself. Yeah. Because we live in a society, again, that conditions us to not have that. Sorry. That's conditioned out of us here in this country. Do things for others, yeah, but until you exhaust yourself and you're practically dead to yourself, that's okay. Like being a martyr somehow is okay. Uh, but taking space, taking time to, you know, be empathetic, but that's okay. But then having the time to like expel that and get rid of that somehow is not okay. And that's a problem with like a lot of caregivers. You know, they do all this stuff, but they don't give themselves enough time, or they don't have enough time to spend out in nature, or to go take a walk, or to go take a hike, or to spend time with their family, or do the things that they enjoy, to kind of like kind of offload a lot of that compassion and pain that they're taking on. You know, we have to really remember to try and do that if we're ever in that kind of a situation. So this gentleman's asking about, so he is saying that he wants to be able to do meditation and work. Like, so sometimes he gets lost in meditation where he just recites and recites these phrases over and over, which is wonderful, but he wants to be able to do that and work at the same time. So it's important that you have time dedicated solely for meditation, but you can still keep those, like that thought of loving kindness about you while you work. And maybe that those thoughts are in the background, but they're there. Like you work in software, you said, in programming, and I work for a software company. I'm not a programmer. But I work in a software company. So yeah, coding is, it takes a lot of your brain power, And some things that help me are, I smile, and it seems so kind of innocuous and so easy, but it's difficult sometimes just to kind of smile with what you're doing, and that kind of smiling just kind of helps put your mind in a really good mood, so that it will be more receptive to loving and kind thoughts. You know, and even if you're working and you're programming and you're kind of doing your thing, um, I think that's something that could really really help. You know, and just having a good attitude in whatever you do. Hmm. My logical mind doesn't work after meditation. I forget everything. Well, um, I think a good thing after meditation is, like if you're running, and they say after you have a run, you have to like this kind of a cool down period, right? Where you just kind of walk it off a little bit after a run. Well, you should do the same thing in meditation. So let's just say that you're meditating for 30 minutes, right? And you do your meditation for 30 minutes, and then the bell goes off. When the bell goes off, you just don't stop meditating. Um, you don't kind of quit cold turkey and just go off and go resume your day, right? You A good thing to do is just kind of sit there for a while and maybe process the meditation, still keeping that meditative mind about you, but just still sitting, still just but being, and not necessarily meditating, but just kind of being there, right? Just sitting. And gradually bring yourself back into this world. Because you still have to live in this world. You still have to, program, and you still have to do all the things that you need to do. Right? But give yourself some like cool down time after you meditate, before you rearrange, before you start the rest of your day. Oh God, so here comes the new year. Just 3 days away. 4 days, something like that. 4 days. 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah. Yeah, Billy.
A couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
I just broke a 72-hour fast
Mm-hmm.
just a few minutes before I got here. On the way out the door, I found a big piece of carrot cake.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought I'd kind of front load myself into love and kindness.
Yeah.
It really works.
Yeah.
When I walked in the door, it's kind of a euphoric state. So I had an advantage. All right. Now, while we're meditating, I started having, I absolutely was conjuring up my benefactor. And then these people that I'm feuding with started to intrude.
Mm-hmm.
And rather than push them away, I let them go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that distinction means anything to anybody.
Yeah.
But, and don't get me wrong, not in any stretch of imagination am I saying I mastered anything, but I could feel myself letting go intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that.
Yeah.
It was very liberating
Mm-hmm.
that I have that I can do something. I have that ability to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than be a passive, this stuff's just happening, you're intruding, these thoughts, nothing I can do about it. I can actually do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to explore that more.
That's awesome that you can just not resist. Oh, I see these people here who shouldn't be here. I'm not going to push them out. I'm just going to let them go and focus on what I'm doing. And, that's a really kind of smart thing to do. And that's kind of one of the things that we teach in meditation. Just don't push it away. Just focus on what you want. Or they can still be here, but you need to be in the background. So I'm going to focus on this. If you want to be in the background, you could be in the background. And so oftentimes they just go, so it's important to understand that you were able to do that. You may not exactly know how, but you did it. And so rely on that experience next time this happens. And that's something really important to do. It's kind of what the Buddha did in his struggle for enlightenment, when he was like, got his strength back after he was basically looking like this. And he sat underneath the Bodhi tree and said, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do this. And I have no idea how it's going to happen. And he just sat in that moment of just surrender. He had that thought that something occurred to him when he was 9 years old, that, oh, I've done this already. I've had this experience already. Oh, yeah, I can do this. It gave him that confidence. In Buddhism, that's what we call faith, because it's not a blind faith. In Buddhism, faith is more like confidence of conviction, because we have that experience, That's what I like about kind of Buddhist faith. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you to all of our online folks. Wonderful to have you here. Thank you for the questions. It's always very appreciated. we have a couple of announcements before we end tonight.
Hello, everyone. I'm tonight's host, Daryl. Dharma Bum Temple started 15 years ago to introduce Buddhist practices to those who showed up. Those who lead are not nuns, monks, gurus, masters, or teachers, and they're not looking for students. They're simply practitioners sharing their interpretation of practice to others. Almost every night, we have different classes led by various Buddhist traditions. We have a recovery sangha, which meets several times a week for those battling addiction. A family sangha for parents, kids, toddlers, and teens, which meets once a month, and a half-day silent retreat that meets on the first Saturday of the month. Everything that is offered here is free, and there's a full schedule on the website, and it's also posted in the entryway above the sheet rack. We also have a lending library, so if there's books you'd like to see that you'd like to borrow, feel free to borrow it and bring it back when you're done with it. And thank you. We hope to see you again.
Thank you. Hope everyone has a wonderful new year. Let's join our palms together at our hearts, please. And may the benefits of this meditation, this discussion be received by all beings in all directions. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be joyful and at ease. May all beings be happy. May all beings be loved and seen for the beautiful, radiant beings that they are. Thank you for coming. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful new year.
See you next year.
Bye.
Potluck Saturday.